My friend. My sister's here.
Hi.
She said hi to you. Hi. Hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hey. So, you'll be editing your story, right?
Yeah, so today I'm not gonna be writing, I'm gonna be editing and doing some rewriting on my science fiction novel that I'm kind of doing for NaNoWriMo. I'm not exactly doing NaNoWriMo, but I am trying to finish editing by the end of the month. So um but I'm still keeping track of it on the NaNoWriMo site because
Yeah.
once I figured out how to use it, it's a really useful tool just to keep track of how much you're writing every day and how
True.
much more I have to do. So yeah. And what are you going to be working on today, Jahara?
I haven't actually decided yet. I'm trying to figure out which WIP I want to work on. Maybe you can help me figure it out.
Yeah, I know you've been working on the Skeleton Bride a
I've been working on
lot.
that one a lot. I got really motivated for it recently. Came up with some really amazing ideas I'm excited for. So yeah.
Nice. Is that the only one you've been working on lately, or?
No. I worked. That is kind of the one that has become kind of my main one at the moment. But I also want to work on the sequel to The Curse's Light.
Mm-hmm.
I've done the first two chapters of that book, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, so got it started. Um, I was struggling. I took a break from that one because I was struggling with it a little bit, like where to continue. I mean,
Yeah.
I have ideas for where I want the story to go. It's just I don't know how to get them there. If that makes sense, you
I
know?
totally know what you
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
um. Hello. I just
Hi.
wanted to say hi. But yeah. Because at the end of the book, left off at a cliffhanger in the first book where Skylar got pretty badly injured. So now the beginning of this book is her being injured.
Yeah,
So
that's
I'm just
fun.
trying to figure out how to keep keep it going. But then, what other WPs do I have? I have so there's the Skeleton Bride, Curses Light, sequel for that. Then there's Power Within. That's the one with the elements.
Yes, I
And
remember you
then
saying that one.
the one with
About
the
that.
covens. I haven't actually worked on that one in a few, but I have that one as well. I think those are the main ones I've been working on.
And you have your prequel too, don't you?
Prequel, right?
Yeah.
I really need.
Not to
I
mention
really need.
more things you gotta do,
Yeah,
but
I really need to get work on with that one. But
yeah.
I got so motivated for the Curses Lights, and now it's published. So now I need to work on the
Yeah.
sequel. But then I got really motivated for Skeleton Bride.
Yeah, I'm like me personally, I like to work on one major project at a time. So for me, it's the answer would be Skeleton Bride
Yeah,
because that's the one I'm most motivated for. That's the one
yeah,
I have most of the work done on. So, but I'm just someone who I really just want to focus on one thing and put my all to it. So
yeah.
that's why
I
I would pick that. But
definitely I get that. I'm usually like that too. I know when I was working with my Jasmine Press series, I put everything else on hold, and because I got so focused on that series, and then
mhm.
I really wanted to get published since it was my first published book, and then after that, I just was so focused on finishing that series and continuing it that was my only work I was working on.
Yeah. So do you think you're gonna do Skeleton Bride today, or do you want to try doing one of the other ones just to mix it up?
I think I'm gonna do Skeleton Bride today. I do want to this month get a little bit more into the prequel and the Curses Light Volume 2 since I already have the first one published. I want to get move on to that one as well.
Yeah, do you have a tentative deadline you have for either of those since you do have other books out in the series for those ones?
The prequel I did want done by the end of the year so that my
Ooh.
Jasper Press series my right, right. I really need to focus on that one.
I'm like,
But so that this year my Jasmine Press series can be officially done. My first
yeah,
series is completely completed.
nice. That would be really cool.
Yeah. I do plan on focusing on the prequel a little bit more soon. It's not going to be as long as the other ones because it's basically just the prequel. So I'm pretty sure I don't know exactly where I'm at on that at the moment, but I think I've made a good progress on it. So I think there's a good chance I can finish it by the end of the year.
Yeah, do you think it's gonna be like novella length? Like that's around like 50,000 words usually?
I'm not
Or
sure.
longer, shorter than that?
I'm really not sure at this moment.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see. Um, I'm pretty sure. It might be a little bit longer than novella length. I'm not really good at short stories. I just have
Hmm.
so much I always want to put in it. That's why I'm also not good with standalones. I have
Yeah.
to be serious because when I come up with a story idea, I have all these ideas for these characters and stuff, and I can't put everything that comes unless you want it to be like 100 chapters.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see.
Nice. Yeah, it'll be what it'll be.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll work on Skeleton Bride today, and then maybe next week I can try to mix it up with a couple of my other stories. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, nice. How far in Skeleton Bride are you, like chapter wise?
I'm on. I clicked the wrong story. Oops, that's not the story I wanted to do. Um, I'm I, I'm not that far, but I think I've made pretty good strive. I mean, it's in first person, so with first person you have to be kind of more descriptive and stuff since you're always in the
Yeah.
character's head. And I have two main characters, so it switches point of views.
Hmm.
Um, I am on chapter 4. That's what I thought I was on. Okay, and I
Nice.
have 9,770 words so far.
Nice.
What?
Good start.
Yeah,
Look at me, I'm on a unicorn cup.
but yeah, I have a lot of ideas for this story, and I'm so excited.
Nice. And how many books do you think this is going to be? I know it's a series.
Yeah,
Just do you
I'm not
know?
sure about this one yet. I plan on
Hey,
like writing down all my ideas I come up with it and try to figure out how many books it will end up being because of the ideas I have. So we'll
Nice.
see.
That's cool.
So how's your story been going?
I've been doing pretty well so far this month. I think today's like the only day I've really like struggled to get anything done just because I usually like write almost first thing in the morning or edit first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
But today I did like errands in the morning and then like afterwards I just wasn't feeling well, as I told you before. I've been not feeling well today. Um so yeah, today's like the first day where I'm like kind of struggling to get into it. But yeah, I've been doing like a chapter like every 2 days, so that's like way faster than I was doing editing before. So I'm really hoping I can finish this by the end of the month and move on to the next step. So um yeah, I'm pretty optimistic so far though.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. You said something about wanting to hand it off to your editor soon, right?
Yeah, yeah. I have like an editor, a person that I know who works as an editor, and I've already like talked to them about working on
Yeah.
this, and they're
Good.
enthusiastic to look at it every now and then. They're like, okay, so when's the story coming? And I'm like, a couple more months. Um, so yeah, like it's very reassuring to have that set up for me.
Yeah.
But then like once I hand it over, it's gonna be, I don't know how long it will take. Um, I would assume like at least a month because it is a long piece of work. And so yeah, during that time, I'm gonna have like free time on my hands. Like I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's like like when your kids finally go off to school, like
Right? Your
what do
story's
you
your
do?
baby. What are you gonna do without it?
Exactly. That's like what it's gonna feel like, I think.
Yeah, probably. You can always start a new story too.
That's what I'm thinking. I have two different story ideas.
Awesome.
So I haven't done any writing on them, but it's mostly just in like the planning stage, and I'm trying not to start them until like I do hand the story off, and then I can kind of either like outline or just like free writes and chapters, kind of like how I started this one. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it, you
I
know.
bet.
So yeah.
Sounds like fun.
I'm sure you feel the same way that like sometimes it's just fun to write something like different for once after working on the same story for so
Yeah,
long.
that's why every so often I like to continue my fan fictions. I still write fan fictions. I focus
Nice.
more on the stories I plan on publishing, but fan
Yeah.
fictions are just something fun for every now and then. And I don't know if you have Wattpad,
I don't have Wattpad, no.
but yeah, I do, and I have some fans on Wattpad who are waiting for my next updates, and I really need to do that a little bit more because I don't want to disappoint my fan fiction fans. So
That's so cool. Yeah, I do archive of our own instead for my fanfics, and I haven't posted anything. I don't even remember the last time I finished a fic, but yeah, when I first started writing this book, I kind of did both because like my fanfics are more like romance oriented. So it's kind of like how I get like my fix for like writing like cute like relationships because I don't really have that in my books. Um, so that yeah, I like completely agree that like sometimes writing fanfic for like a change of pace is just
yeah,
much needed, and you're still
definitely.
like writing, but yeah, nice.
Yeah, I have a Monster High fan fiction.
Mm-hmm.
I think I mentioned it to you and Claire. It's like the whole Once Upon a Time thing where
Yeah,
they got cursed and now they're in our world. So yeah, it's a little different, but it's same characters, same couples, friendships, everything.
that's
And
cool.
yeah, this and it's a long series. I'm on book 7 of that.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's a cool concept too for like a almost like a crossover fic, you
yeah,
know? Nice.
definitely. But it's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I
Just
bet.
to let off some steam from your hard work of your actual books, you know.
Yeah, and I feel like you know, obviously I want my fanfics to be like a good quality, but also
Yeah,
like at the same time I don't feel as much pressure usually, and
definitely.
also I'm writing in like an already established like creative universe, so it's more like rather than I have to answer questions about like, you know, world building, I'm just using what's already made and kind of getting to play around with
Yeah,
other people's worlds is so much fun.
definitely. And like if there was something you didn't like, you could change it, or if a character dies and you wanted them to live, or if a couple doesn't end up together that you wanted to end up together, it's still their world, but you get to make these little small changes to satisfy your fangirl heart, and I just love
Right.
it.
I do write fix it fix like that.
Yeah,
Like I'll be like, I don't like how this played out exactly, so this is how I imagine it to play
yes,
out. Like I've done that.
yeah,
Or I'll just be
definitely.
like, I know this is canon, but I think it's stupid, so I'm ignoring it. Like that doesn't exist in my fanfic
Definitely.
because I think it's dumb. Like yeah, it's fun to just like be able to cherry pick and just make it like as self-indulgent as possible because that's really what it's about, and people reading it usually like that too.
Yeah.
So
So it's a nice change of pace every so often. You're working so hard on the books that you plan on making a career out of that every so often it's nice to take a break, relax a
wow.
little, and just have fun with some fan fictions.
Yeah,
Not that, writing isn't fun or anything, but it can be a lot of hard work.
it is work though. Yeah, that's the thing. So yeah,
Especially if
but
you're getting paid for it, even if it's not a lot of money, you still can making money out of these books.
I'm not making a lot of
I know,
money
but
from
you're
my
you're
career,
gonna get
but
there. You're gonna
it's
get there. I believe in you.
it's okay. Yeah, I'm getting there. But whenever like people are like, "Yeah, you like writing's so easy. It's such an easy way to make
They're
money."
not
I'm
real
like,
writers if they
"Excuse
really
me?
think.
Like, okay, prove it." Like, it's really hard.
Yeah, people people who aren't writers, they always try to brush it off with like, oh, you're just writing. That's so easy. But if you actually sat down and tried to write a story, it's not as easy as people think. You know, you have to come up with these characters, these connections, these real chemistry with these characters, and you have to come up with these storylines and plots and world building, and this world that's all yours is a lot harder than non-writers realize.
And I feel like non-writers don't realize that like you might be able to read something really fast, but writing like that takes so much longer. And I just like think sometimes while I'm reading, just like, oh my god, I wonder how long like the author spent on this page, since it is like it's so like beautiful and stuff. And I'm like,
but we read it in 2 seconds.
Exactly. I'm like, I bet this took her days or something, and I'm reading it in a minute, and I'm like it's something you don't realize until you do yourself, you know? Because I think you lose that. That's why I'm like, sometimes speed readers, I'm like I'm watching you. Like, it took me days to write this.
Right.
Like, enjoy it.
That's why it's also so nice to connect with other writers, because they understand, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like having a community is really important for writers. And I feel like, you know, you and I along our way, we've met a lot of people who I've really like needed that little extra nudge to like, you know, get writing.
Yeah.
I feel like between doing these writing sprints, and I know like the Discord that you made, like I feel like it's attracted people who are like, I want to write and I have these ideas, but I'm like nervous about getting started. And I was there, you know, like I don't know if you were ever at that point in your life too, where you were like, I'm a little unsure about starting this, but once you have a community, it comes more naturally, and I feel like that doubt kind of starts to melt away.
It helps to feel like, I mean, we know that we're not alone, because there's like hundreds of writers, thousands of writers in the world, but to actually know other writers and be able to discuss your works and support each other and help each other. I know you helped me a lot with my Jasmine Press series. There were times I was stuck and you would help me. I helped you with your story. And it's just so nice to have someone that can help you and support you and this and that.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's fun too.
True. I love talking about my story with someone who gets it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like besides when you're writing, you don't always get the opportunity to talk your story, you know? I mean, but like it's so beneficial sometimes.
Definitely.
Like to actually talk about it out loud, because then you'll be like, oh wait, I just thought of something. I feel like during one of our writing sprints, like you literally came up with like a plot twist when we were doing a writing sprint, and then at the end of it you're like, I think I want to do this. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds cool. Like,
yeah, because when we're like writing together and stuff, we can like bounce ideas off of each other. And if you're just talking about, even if the other person doesn't give any advice and just listens to your ideas, it helps to talk about it out loud and really hear the idea fully. And so at 7:20 or 8:20 where you are, do you want to start the first sprint?
Sure. How long do you want to go for?
20 minutes?
Sounds good to me.
Awesome. Yeah, I came up with some, because that actually happened to me recently. I was talking to Alyssa. We were talking about our stories, and then that's when I came up with this amazing idea for my Skeleton Bride book, and that was just like the other day, a few days ago, and I really love this idea, and I can't wait to put it in my story. I mean, it won't be in my story for a little bit, but I'm excited
such a good
for
feeling though that you know like where you're gonna go with it.
Yeah, definitely. It's 20 after. Ready?
Sure. Okay.
So that'll be until 40. Awesome. Happy writing.
Thank you. Happy writing.
How was the sprint?
Mine was pretty okay. I got 569 words done, I think. Yeah. So that's about half of what I need to do for today. So hopefully by the end of the next sprint we do, I'll be finished with my daily goal.
That's great.
How did yours go?
I only got 234 words done, but it's going pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This book is gonna have a lot of flashbacks because when the story starts, Anastasia, she's one of the main characters. She's the skeleton main character, and she has already. She's like is in charge of what she's calling the skeleton rebellion. She's trying to fight against the Grim Reaper, who's all evil in this story.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of flashbacks trying to tell you how Anastasia got to where she is now. Because like the story started with her as a human before she died. Show her how she got killed and how she came back as a skeleton, and then it skips to today. And yeah, so
nice.
yeah,
It's funny because I am working on the only flashback chapter in my whole book right now. So
nice.
We're like weirdly connected today. Yeah. It's so weird.
So it goes from different timelines and stuff. And I came up with this idea, so I kind of changed the beginning. Well, I didn't really change it. I just added something at the very beginning because I came up with this idea, like how sometimes you'll see something like in a movie or something where something will happen and then it will, but what happened is actually at the end of the story.
Yeah.
So they have to go back to show you how they got there. It's kind of similar to this because I came up with the idea of having her like, it's like almost like if she's talking to the readers and she's narrating her story and how she got to where she is.
That's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never done anything like that, but I came up with it the other day, so I added it because I really like the idea.
It works well for like a first-person story too. I think you said that this one's in first person, so it wouldn't work too well in third person, but it does that you're writing it in first person.
Yeah. But yeah, I have so many ideas for this series.
Nice, and like you're just getting started too, so like you got so much fun ahead of you.
Yeah, definitely. So someone has joined us. Hello, Alley Cat. We're glad you're here.
Oh my gosh, let us know what books you're looking at, because I'm obsessed with books, or else why would I be on BookTube?
Right?
Yeah, let us know what you're looking at. If you're thinking of getting any books, we can help you decide.
Yeah, what will you be reading? Yeah, Robin and I are writing, but the people watching it are welcome to read if you're not writers.
Yeah, you're welcome to work on whatever you need. This is just about being productive.
Exactly. That's one great thing about these sprints.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter if they're writing sprints or reading sprints or what.
Yeah, I hopped in on one of the reading sprints by Tiffany at Beach Bum Bookworm yesterday because I was working on sewing my felt figures that I do. And like I just like to watch something while I'm sewing just because it is so monotonous. So I was like, I'm not reading, but I'm sewing. So, so yeah, sometimes I don't do either. I just work on whatever I'm working on.
Just be productive.
Exactly, yeah. But that's what's fun too about following a bunch of booktubers is like sometimes I'll just see some live sprints going on and I'll just like pop in for a bit, like, all right, like this is my sign to work on something,
right?
You know. So those are fun.
Definitely.
So what do you have planned next for your BookTube channel?
I
have like last month you were updating daily, so it's kind of weird not to see daily videos from you anymore.
Yeah. I haven't decided I'm gonna do Bloggoween again next year, but we'll see. Hopefully I'll be a little bit more prepared. I I plan to have like pre-filmed most of the videos before October, but then I got sick like right before October, and I didn't
Oh,
want to film, so I ended up just doing them like on the day. But sometimes I was a little bit late or something, and so if I do it next year, I do want to be a little bit more prepared and have them filmed and ready.
right. Yeah, I feel like that's something I would have to do ahead of time. I would never be able to keep up.
Yeah, but I do have a few videos planned. I know I have I want to do some book reviews because I haven't done those in a while. They're not my
Yeah.
favorite videos to film, but I do like to do some book reviews every so often. And I have several books that I read recently that I haven't done a review for yet, so I want to do some of those. So I plan on doing some of those and post them soon. What about you?
Nice. I think the next thing I have planned is to do the fall writing tag. I think that you tagged me in just because I'm trying to get it done before fall ends.
Yeah.
But yeah, the main thing I had to get done was my wrap up video for last month because I'm trying to keep on top of those just because I like looking back on them. It's more for me at this point, you know? But like I didn't have it ready like until like this weekend to
Yeah.
film. So yeah, I've been like really behind on that, but it is up now. I think you commented on it, so
Yeah, I did.
you've definitely seen it. So yeah, the next I have to do is a tag video, which I haven't done those in a while, but I do really enjoy tag videos.
Yeah, me too.
So like what is like some of your favorite type of videos to do versus ones you don't like to do as much since you mentioned you don't like book reviews?
I mean, I don't not like book reviews because I like talking about these new books that I just read. They're just not my absolute favorite to do, you know.
Mhm.
So I do want to do a little bit more of those. Try to talk about recent books I read. Maybe I'll do a video of all the recent books I read. I don't know. But my favorite videos are tags. I absolutely love tags.
I think, yeah, what's fun about the tag videos is that they can be so versatile, you know, and it is a lot of like callbacking on books I have already read and talked about, but like not necessarily as in depth as I need to go when I do my wrap up videos. Like to me, I don't do review videos anymore just because like that's what I kind of end up doing in my wrap up videos anyway. It's just
True.
like
That's why I
multiple
kind of
book
stopped doing it
reviews.
too.
Yeah, so I have a hard time like deciding if I want to just do one video about one entire book when it's like, well, I want to put this in my wrap up anyway, so
Yeah.
it's going to be like redundant. But so I haven't
Yeah.
figured out how I want to balance that. I might like start doing like if I know I'm going to talk about a book like a lot and that's going to take up most of the wrap up video, I might like, you know, kind of do a smaller version for the wrap up and then give it its own video, but like that's like a lot of work too. So I don't know. I haven't figured out how I want to
Yeah.
do that yet.
I think it also depends if your reviews are spoilery because
Mm,
because I do spoiler reviews because I like to really dive deep into the book I was reading and explain like everything I loved, everything maybe I didn't like as much, why I rated it, what I rated it as. And I try to do only book reviews for books I did like. Which most books I end up reading I do end up loving because like we were talking about, you know, we stay in the same little small corner here, so we end up reading books we love for the most part because we every so often we do get those disappointments.
yeah.
Like the Scooby-Doo book. But because with wrap-ups you don't want to dive deep into each book that much because
Yeah.
you don't want it to be an hour-long video of each book review. It'll be like each book has its own mini review in your wrap-up, and you don't want that. So you just get a little bit into it, what you and why you liked it, why you didn't like it, this and that. But if you do so I guess it just depends on if your reviews are spoilery. or not.
Yeah, I try to keep my wrap up spoiler free, so that's a
Yeah.
good point of like, and I do remember like one of the books I read this past year. I still want to give it its own video just because like there's so much I want to talk about it that
Yeah,
is spoilers, you
exactly.
know?
And you don't have to do reviews that often either. If you just found this one book that you really loved and you want to make an entire video dedicated to that book, then that too.
So yeah, I might try to do that, and yeah, that's a good suggestion just to
Yeah.
do it more once in a while too.
And
So
yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Cause I told you about that new series of videos I want to do where I talk about underrated series.
yeah,
I'm waiting
okay,
until
yeah.
I reread Seekers because I want that to be my first book on that.
Oh, I
Obviously,
wonder why. Like,
I
I
don't
can't
know why,
imagine why.
but I decided to do two videos for Seekers since there's like 12 books and the first six is the first arc, then the second six is the second arc. So I'm gonna
Mhm.
do one for Seekers and then one for Seekers Return to the Wild because it's a different arc but same series,
Is it the same characters?
same characters.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so different storylines
Yeah.
then.
So that's what I want to So that's what I want to do. I want those two to be my two series videos for that. But
Nice.
yeah, but I read a lot of underrated series. Like most of what I read end up being underrated because I never hear anyone talk about it, which is really sad. So I think I might do reviews if it's more on the popular side for a book. But
Mhm.
if it is underrated, I might just wait until I do an entire series underrated series video for the entire series instead of doing a review for it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes
Like
sense.
Shadow and Bone has gone pretty popular, so I may just do independent reviews for each book. And then with most of my series is I probably will just do the whole video for the entire series. What? Yeah. For you or for mom?
Me.
Why do you need a soda? Fine. My sister wants soda. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm leaning toward with the whole do I should do all these reviews or not. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to your underrated series
Thanks.
video. Like those sound like both a really good idea, and also like it's really fun too. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't read too many series, but I kind of feel you on that. Like, I feel like I read a lot of books that like people have either not heard of before, or that's just like not getting covered on BookTube. So, yeah, so I kind of would like to uplift those too, but kind of how I've been trying to do like my like monthly reads is I usually try to read like a couple of like really popular books and then a couple of really unheard of books, and like so like hopefully people will come for the popular books and then
Yeah.
more about like these underrated books. But
I just read whatever I want to read, I guess. I just read whatever, just seems really interesting. And I also don't read it because of the cover. I know I've realized that a bunch of people on BookTube, like, they see a cover and they immediately decide to buy it because it's really pretty. And I'm like, until I joined BookTube, I didn't even pay attention to covers, even in the slightest. I have now realized that some of the covers I own is actually really pretty. I never realized that until I joined BookTube, but I still don't buy books based on the cover. The most important thing to me is what the summary says, if it sounds good.
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of the cover thing. I remember, like, specifically when I was a kid, like, I was so reluctant to read synopsis on a book that I would just, like, infer everything from title and cover alone. And I think I mentioned this in, like, one of our reading sprints. I think you were there. I'm not sure if that was part of when you were working a lot, but when I was reading the Ugly series, I remember that as a kid growing up, and I didn't touch it as a kid because I thought it was like about like high school and like cliques and like one of those, I can't think of what the series that was popular at the time, but like I just assumed that based on like the cover and title alone, and like what it actually is about is like science fiction dystopian. And I'm like, oh, I didn't actually know that. It like didn't get that from the cover whatsoever. Completely threw me. But so yeah, don't judge a book by a cover, because I completely assumed wrong based on that alone.
You can miss out on a great opportunity from a book that may not have the best cover, or you might end up reading a book that has a great cover and then it turned out to be a total letdown because you only based it off of its cover.
There's
and
definitely been a lot like that.
Yeah, just because it has a great cover doesn't mean it's a great story, and just because it has a bad cover doesn't mean it's a bad story.
Right, like Meddling Kids, the Scooby-Doo that I want to shut up about. I love the cover of that. It's like so cool.
The fact that it's a Scooby-Doo retelling was enough for me to get my interest piqued because I love Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, that's why I picked it up originally, because I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, I totally want to read Scooby-Doo retelling. But yeah, if you watch my wrap-up video, anyone in the audience, pretty much like nothing went right with this book. Like the writing, the plot wasn't there. There was just so much I didn't like about it. But I kept like reading because I was like, oh, it might get better. And then it just like kept getting worse. It was like literally just like
each couple of chapters you took off 1 star.
Literally what was happening, yeah, because like the further I got in, like the more like twists were happening, and it was just like none of this makes sense. Like I have no idea what's going on. Like
I hate that.
And it wasn't in a good way, because I feel like there are like twists that are like so disorienting, where it's like, oh my gosh, like I gotta read to find out what happens. But like that would happen, and then I'd be like, okay, I'm not sure about this, and I kept reading, and it like wouldn't like resolve it in any way, and it would just get like weirder and weirder, like in a bad way. You know, it just like it was such a hot mess. Like I can't believe like it's like got published like this, you know, like as someone who works as like an editor as well, it's just like, how did this get past editors? Like I don't know.
That's really sucks, because you were really highly anticipated for that book. You were so excited to read it. I remember you telling me about it at the start of October for the Monster I Readathon. You were just so excited to read it.
It was like the one book I had to read this month.
One of these days, I'll make a way better Scooby-Doo retelling.
Yes, now you gotta, because like I need this.
Yeah,
I need this in my life, but that book just wasn't
a good one at least.
Yeah, but like at least like I think like the live action movies are like so much better than that book was. So like I'll just watch that instead. Like those are fun. So
I love the live action Scooby-Doo movies. Those are my favorite Scooby-Doo adaptations. My second favorite would be this one animated show called Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. It's on Netflix. It only lasted 2 seasons. But it's so good. And what I love so much about that is it's kind of like the live action movies, where they actually bring in a bit of a supernatural to it. And you know how like every episode it's them unmasking someone for whatever they were doing? Well, they were still doing that, but there was also this huge mystery over the town that they had to solve within each episode. They got more clues, and by the end of the series, they were almost killed, and the world was almost destroyed. They ended up saving the world, and the ending was so surprising. You have to watch it. It's on Netflix. It's so good.
That literally sounds like what this book was trying to achieve, but it actually did it. You know?
Yes, they did, and it was so good.
That's awesome. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Do it. If you want a good version of that, then definitely check out this show.
Right, yeah, don't read Meddling Kids.
No.
I'm like never someone who's like, don't read a book, because I'm like I'm always like, okay, you guys can make your own opinions, but I'm like, we'll be wasting your time and money on this book. Like, that's how I feel about it.
And you have your sci-fi, I have my fantasy, and it's like we know what we like, and we usually for the most part do stay in what we like because we want
Mhm.
to end up reading something we do enjoy, and we know what we enjoy, so we kind of stay in that for the most
Yeah.
part. So whenever we don't enjoy a book, I just feel like it's so much more disappointing
It's
because
so
you're sure you're going to
devastating.
love it.
Yeah, I am like such an enjoyment reader. Like that's like entirely why I read is to enjoy. So
Yeah,
like when I don't like a book, it is like genuinely upsetting, you
yeah,
know?
exactly.
So I feel like whenever a book doesn't measure up, it's like it's really stands out to me, you know?
Yeah.
Uh but okay, so the one good thing is I did read a book already this month, and I didn't like it so much. It was only a 3-star review
Mm.
from me, but it inspired a story for me because I'm like,
That's
this
great.
concept is really cool, but I want to do something entirely different with it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'm
that's
like,
great.
yeah, right. So I'm like it got like my gears turning of like, well, why didn't like the author do this and this and this? And I was like, I
Yeah,
could do that. Like, like I'm gonna write that. I want to
you
explore
should
my own version of the book. So
definitely.
yeah,
Do you want
so
to do another?
something did
Huh?
come out of it. So
Yeah,
something good did come out of it. Oh my gosh,
definitely.
I can't talk. Yeah, we can do another sprint because I'm apparently unable to talk now. So
But that's great that you came out with a story for it. And I
yeah,
guess reading Scooby Doo wasn't too bad because I'm gonna make a story out of that. So
right. And it kind of maybe inspired you a little
yeah,
bit. So yeah, happy
happy
writing.
writing. Hey.
I had to look up something world building wise really quick, so sorry I went a
You're
little
fine.
bit over.
Yeah, so did I. I just now realized that we were a little bit past the time. Oops.
Right.
I got so into this scene.
Like I have a separate deck that I do my world building on, and so I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, I gotta look up like the name of like the common god of like the aliens, and I was like, oh, I remember this character specifically like worships like a different like less popular god, so I'm like, oh, like that was completely pointless. I remembered that one, but
Yeah,
so
I was
yeah,
looking.
it just took a moment for me to get
That's
that and
fine.
type it down before I forgot it. So
Yeah, I was a little bit behind too because I got so into this scene, and the scene is almost done, and I got so excited for it. And yeah, I had to look something up too. The main character is from France, so she's French, and I was looking up a last name for a French last name for her and someone else who she knew in her before she died. So yeah.
who did you end up going with?
Uh, for him, I went with Bernard,
I like it.
and with her, I went with. I'm probably gonna pronounce this wrong, but Mori Au, or is Moreau. How to pronounce it? I'm not sure, but
Oh God, I don't know. French eludes me sometimes because there'll be like a bunch of letters, but like you only pronounce like half of them. So I never studied French either,
yeah,
so
neither have
I'm
I.
not super familiar with it. But how far did you get this time? I know you said you almost finished your scene.
Yeah. I don't know how many words I did. But yeah, the scene's coming along, and because there's so and the person Anastasia's fighting is her husband. But the thing is, he he is the one that killed her. He killed her right after they got married
Nice.
because he wanted both of their kingdoms
Nice,
under
yeah.
his control. So, and he found the perfect reason because she was died in year 1800, so it was back then
Yeah.
when certain things weren't okay, and he found out that she had a certain relationship with a woman.
Oh gosh.
So he was able to convince everyone it was treason or whatever.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty cool
Yeah.
for the backstory. Yeah, I got 500 words done, so I met my daily goal for today, but I
That's
kind
great.
of want to write just a little bit longer today
Yeah.
too, just
That's
because
good.
I'm trying to finish this like flashback scene and there's only a couple more paragraphs to go, so I'm
Nice.
hoping to do that.
Yeah, I'm in a flashback right now too.
Yeah.
Hi, Lance. Glad you could make it.
Yeah, let us know what you're
What are you
working
working
on,
on?
what you're reading, what are you up to, and how is it going?
Yeah, we seem to be making progress on our end. We'd love if you guys were making progress too.
Yeah, I'm glad to have finally gotten something done. This is like
Yeah.
the least I've written or gotten done this month so far, but like it's
Well,
still
that's pretty
progress.
good. You've been doing
Yeah,
good this month.
I have been like really kicking butt, so I'm really hoping to get my goal, but
Yeah.
it's getting there. So
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
excited. I'm almost halfway done according to NaNoWriMo site.
Huh.
Because it keeps track of it, so or half of what I need to do this month, I should say. I only put in like the amount of words I needed to go through before I finished this book, so
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm working this scene I'm almost done with is very intense because it's like I said, there's gonna be a lot of flashbacks so you can kind of figure out how Anastasia got from first becoming a skeleton to starting this skeleton rebellion and fighting the Grim Reaper of all people. So
Mhm.
you can kind of see how that all formed as she, but also during present time, seeing how the fight is going, even though she's losing at the moment.
No.
It will all prevail in the end. It always
Yeah.
does. But
Or will it?
true.
Yeah.
But it's a
That's
very intense
funny.
scene because in this flashback, when she became a skeleton, she didn't realize that he woke up as well. Like at the end of the prologue, she leaves the cemetery and France behind as she walks away. But then all of a sudden, right in the grave next to hers, which reads Mitchell, which was her husband, a hand comes out, and that's kind of how the prologue ends. So a little suspense there. But
Nice.
this is the scene where she found out that he was alive too. Well, not live, but like he's part of the undead as well.
Yeah.
So it's very intense, and he is a major jerk. Okay,
Yeah. I wonder
so
why. I can't imagine what makes him a huge jerk, what he's done.
egotistical, and yeah, he's
Yeah.
just awful. So he's one of those characters you're supposed to hate.
Yeah, nice.
Do you have any of those characters?
I tend not to write those characters, to be honest. I do enjoy reading characters like that. Like I know one of the tag videos I have to do has like a character you love to hate, and I'm like, yeah, I can think of so many answers for that. But yeah, for mine, it's like there is like a face to the evil that they're fighting, but it's kind of like the point is that it's like kind of an evil in us all almost, and like this is just the face of that evil, and you know that we all have the choice to be either good or evil through our actions. So um yeah, kind of in a way it's just like I don't yeah, don't have the ability to write her as a character that you love to hate, because you're supposed to kind of be able to relate and understand why she's doing things, because she thinks she's right,
Yeah.
she thinks she's doing the right thing.
Don't you hate that?
Right, but that's what makes it a fun character to
True.
write, because like I write it with like absolutely believing that this character thinks that she is right and that what she is doing is the right thing, and that anything else is a sacrifice like
Yeah,
worthy to her cause. So
definitely those characters are so complex because it's like, are they wrong because they think they're right? And and what I love whenever there's a villain that has good points to what they were doing, but like you've seen Avatar, right? And Legend of Korra?
yeah.
All the villains on Legend of Korra all had some sort of real point. And that wasn't evil. They just went about it the wrong way. That made them the villain. And those characters are also so complex because it's like they're wrong, but at the same time they're not wrong. So it's like, do I hate them? Do I side with them?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to do with this in a way. But I think like readers should understand that okay, she's going to some extremes, and like you can't do this, like, and that's what makes it
not
wrong.
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's fun, but it is complex to do.
Definitely. Sounds like it. I love a good complex character.
Right, yeah, and like my thing is I usually like to write like almost unlikable heroes sometimes. I kind of end up obsessing with those characters the most during writing, and even reading sometimes is like, wow, like this character, if I had to like talk to them in person, I would want to punch them in the face. But like I just love reading about them so much because they're just so like complex. So I kind of favor more of like more of like the antagonist versus like the villain, more where it's like, okay, like this character causes problems, but also like they're kind of cool, and like they're just so complex and fun to read. So
yeah, As you know, I love the Chosen One story.
Yeah,
But I always like to change it, like I did with Jasmine. Like
right.
I like to have the character because I never buy the Chosen One, uh, trope. Whenever the Chosen One is always so righteous, it's like we have to do this because it's the right thing. Because that's not reality. You know, a lot of times the Chosen One doesn't want to be chosen. So I like
Mhm.
to write that inner battle, like even have them want to like stop because this is just too much, because a lot of times being the chosen one also you have to sacrifice things, and it's human not want to, even if it is for the greater good. You know, it's just human not to
Right.
want to. So I feel like making your chosen one so righteous and also making them less human, if that makes sense. And I love what I did with my Jasmine Press series, because I didn't. I mean, I did that, but I also changed it a bit because she found out, because the whole point how she became the chosen one is that Rosemary, Lilac's sister and her ancestor, did a spell right before she died, so that someone in her bloodline would become this really powerful witch, and is the only person that can stop her. And that person will also have general magic like she had.
Mhm.
So so there hadn't been any signs of general magic for centuries until Jasmine. So they thought. Turned out that another one of her ancestors after Rosemary, before Jasmine, had general magic, and it was actually the original chosen one, and was
Mhm.
supposed to stop Lilac, but she failed. And so
Right.
Jasmine started to doubt herself, like, if she failed, then how can I do this and that?
Right.
So
Yeah, it doesn't guarantee her success that like if she fails, well, there'll hopefully be another person coming along to be the
yeah.
new chosen one. Hopefully before Lilac destroys everything.
Well,
But
Lilac was really, and it's not. But if Jasmine didn't have any kids at that point,
oh
so it's
yeah.
not like, so if she had died, there would be no chosen one anymore.
Oh wow, that
Plus,
makes it even
yeah,
more complex.
yeah. Uh,
Mhm.
but even if she did have a child at that point, Lilac was too close to her victory for uh any of her Jasmine's descendants to be able to be chosen before Lilac succeeded.
Mhm. Yeah, it'll be
But
like this
still,
like toddler like
yeah.
having to be the chosen.
But it doesn't mean her kid would even be the next chosen one, anyways. It's one of her
Mhm.
descendants, but it didn't mean it would guarantee to be
Oh,
her child.
gotcha. Okay.
So, yeah.
That's
But yeah,
cool.
so it was very complex, but I love that twist with the chosen one trope.
Yeah, like for me, like I don't like to say there's things that I will never read like when it comes to plots and stuff because I feel like there is always like a certain twist on things that I would like about it. And for me, like I typically don't like chosen one plots because they do tend to be so self-righteous and like superhuman.
Yeah,
And you know, to me it doesn't feel relatable.
exactly.
But I do read like chosen one plots every now and then, but the ones I usually end up really liking are the ones that kind of subvert that trope a little bit. Um, so yeah, which is what you kind of did there. But yeah. And I
Yeah,
like that. I usually like when someone takes like a trope that I typically don't like and they try to like put a spin on it
yeah,
because I
to make it
think
a little bit better.
yeah, because I think like there's no tropes that are terrible, but it's just the way that they're done. There's certain ways that are kind of overdone and kind of give it
Yeah,
a bad name. Uh, so yeah, so I like it when there's a little twist on it.
yeah. Me too. I love the chosen one trope, and I feel like that's an underrated opinion these days. But I like to write the chosen one trope. I just like to put that spin on it, make it so the
Hmm.
chosen one is more human, where she doesn't want to be the chosen one, where she maybe even there be a couple of times where she quits, but then she
Hmm.
always does end up coming back because you know she is the chosen one, and it calls to her. So definitely. What's your favorite trope?
Ooh, ooh, that's a big question. Oh my.
How about
Um,
what's your least favorite? Maybe that's easier.
I mean, we were just talking about Chosen One. I wouldn't say Chosen One's my least favorite either.
You probably know what's mine.
Love triangles, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, love
I hate
triangles is definitely down there on my list, but like the ones that I do end up, I wouldn't say liking, but just like tolerating is usually the ones where it doesn't have that like toxic competition between the
Yeah.
two significant
Yeah,
others, because that's what I don't like.
exactly. Or I also hate whenever like the person in the middle, where these two people like them is like, I don't understand how you're that conflicted, because
Yeah.
if you should, it's like you should know which one you lean towards, you know. And I heard this quote a while back that I really liked. It's like, if you love two people at the same time, choose the second one, because if you really love the first one, you wouldn't fall in for the second one in the first place.
That's a really
Yeah,
like good piece of advice. I think
exactly.
like
And
what sorry, go ahead.
I just feel like with a lot of love triangles, I don't understand how they're that conflicted. Like, you should know which one you want, and maybe it's not always not knowing which one you want to choose. It's just maybe you're afraid to admit that you might like one of them or something as
Yeah.
well. Um, but then I've also seen a couple times. I think Disney does this more than anything, but where it's like you'll be with someone and you'll choose someone, and then all of a sudden you start to uh before you can really see this couple together, they start to regret maybe they made the wrong choice and want to choose the other one, then only to get back with the one they chose in the first place. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely like something I've seen in Disney specifically a lot, but like I don't know, like I definitely like think it's very organic for like, you might try a relationship with someone and it doesn't work out, and then you meet someone else and you're like, wow, I vibe with this person way better. Like that's like a pretty natural thing to go through, but I feel like the way love triangles are written, it doesn't feel authentic to like the human experience. I've never been in that situation before. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like even though like I feel like I definitely love more than one person, but to me it's like, okay, I got like romantic love for my girlfriend and like friendship
Yeah,
love for my best friend, and to me they're very equal to me. Like I
yeah.
like them both very, very much. Like I wouldn't like
Just the
prioritize one
way
over
you
the
love them
other.
is different.
But the way, yeah, the relationship I have with them is different, and like, like different needs are getting met. Like, not to say that like my girlfriend isn't my friend as well, but like, like
Yeah,
it's just, and I feel like love triangles don't like authentically like replicate that,
yeah,
that like I think it would be more believable if it's like, okay, I love this person uh like romantically because they give me this and this, where I love this person because they give me this and this. But usually it's like, okay, like in Monster High, Frights Camera Action, the movie within that movie where like there was the two guys and like they were both
yeah,
played by the same actor.
yeah.
That's what every single love triangle is like. It's like the same like generic guy.
Right?
But it'll be like the other guy looks exactly the same but has like a different hair color. You know what I mean? Like that is literally what they're like, and it's like, okay, well, do you prefer blondes or brunettes? I don't know. Like, it just feels so shallow, you know. Uh,
And it should be the person that you like just feel more free with, you know?
yeah,
Like, I'm watching this one show right now, okay? It's a Disney show, but they're actually handling the love situation relatively okay for Disney. But like, it's about this girl named Luna, okay? She had to move her entire life behind because her parents got this uh a job that they couldn't pass by, and her best friend ended up leaving his life behind to follow her because he couldn't stand not being with her. And they did start their relationship started to become more than just friends. Um,
yeah,
but at the same time, there's this couple that they're the most popular couple, right? But and the girl is really mean to the main girl, and she doesn't. Uh, and she doesn't like how close her boyfriend is getting to her. And he obviously likes her, but he doesn't want to admit it. It's like a love square with this one, okay? It's not a love triangle, but so it's like complicated because Simone is jealous of Luna and Mateo, and then Amber's jealous of Luna and Mateo, even though nothing's going on between them. Although they do have a connection,
Yeah.
but Luna and Mateo and Amber, they're like the bad ones, right? The bad boy and bad girl. But with Luna, Mateo can be himself more, and same thing with Amber with Simone. She can let go and be free a little bit more, and it shows you that that's why they should be together instead of
Right.
the original couple, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that feels like such a Disney plot, to be honest.
Definitely.
I'm like, this could be any movie they put out. Not literally, but
Yeah.
like,
But there's really only one love triangle I've ever actually seen that I didn't completely hate.
and
And that's the
the
one.
which one it is. 'Cause I think we
Legend of
talked about
Korra.
it before, and I totally agree. Yeah.
Because I just feel like sorry.
I was gonna say, like, honestly, when I watched that, I didn't really ship Korra with either of the boys, you know, and like
Yeah,
even
neither did
like Korra and Mako felt very like it felt very shallow. Like same with like Mako and Asami, that it just felt like it was just like all like, I don't want to say lust exactly, but like kind of just like that, like it was all just like heat in their relationship, and it didn't really seem like they had like any like connection deeper than that. And
Yeah.
like I think like Bolin's crush on Korra was really cute, but
But it
yeah.
ended pretty quickly too.
Yeah,
And
it did. He
I
deserves better than that too. You know what I mean?
I like him with Opal, but I didn't like Bolin with Korra.
No, it just like felt
Yeah, they were good
forced.
friends. Yeah, exactly. I think it was just a little crush, you know. I don't think it was meant to be anything real anyways.
Yeah.
And with Korra and Mako, you know, I didn't really like them. I feel like they're both way too hot-headed to ever make a relationship other than friendship work. And Asami's a little bit more laid back than Korra and chill, but I still didn't really like her with Mako, especially since as soon as Mako started dating Asami, all of a sudden he liked Korra. It was really weird.
Yeah, that's so weird.
But the reason why I didn't think the love triangle was that bad was because the fact that it wasn't the toxic competing, because Korra didn't like Asami at first, but once she got her, they became friends and they liked each other despite what was going on with Mako and everything. And I do ship them.
Yeah, and they do get together too, which is
Yes.
so fun. Like I love that twist on it. But you're right, like that's exactly what I don't like about love triangles, is that
Yes.
toxic competition. But like Avatar kind of subverted it.
Yeah.
Or Legend of Korra, I don't think that is technically called Avatar, but it's part of the same series, same universe. That like, you know, at first like Korra's like all jealous, but then like once they get to know each other, they're good. And I was like, oh yeah, this is great. Like this is what I want to see more of.
Exactly. Despite their love for the same boy, they remained friends and they became closer than ever after the whole Mako drama was over. They got even so close that they realized they had feelings for each other. And I feel like they're good together because they can like challenge each other, and I feel like with Korra's hot-headedness, Asami can kind of calm her down and stuff, which she needs. Because Mako cannot do that for her. I don't care. He can't.
He just like throws like more wood onto that fire. Exactly. You know what I mean?
But a lot of people also said they didn't understand where the whole Asami and Korra relationship came from, because it felt like it happened at the last minute. But if you watch seasons 3 and 4, you can see the slow build-up. But it was kind of back then before lesbian couples were really shown on TV, especially cartoons.
Yeah.
So they couldn't exactly be straightforward about it. But if you watch it carefully and closely, you can see the slow build-up with the relationship.
Yeah, I feel like near the end of the series, like they have the most like interactions between
Yeah.
each other, like so like that
How
makes
close they
sense.
got and everything.
But I feel like also like they couldn't put in as many like development scenes between them for the same reason you
Yeah.
said that like at that point in time, like it was still like what they did put in was really forward for the time, especially for like a kid cartoon.
Exactly.
So yeah, I really like it though. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, me too. Do you want to do like one last sprint?
Yep, sounds good to me.
Okay, so that'll be until what?
Why don't we start at 9:50 or
Sounds good.
8:50? Okay, just to round it up.
Yeah, because I'm bad at math.
And I'm like, yeah, it's getting late for me, so I'm just like, okay, I'm not gonna bother doing mental math right now.
Right.
But yeah, I just want to get a little bit more done
Me
on
too. I
this
want to at least
tonight.
finish this scene.
So I will be so happy then, because I'm really trying to stay on top of this.
Yeah.
I'm eager to start my next book, to be honest. Is it like as much fun as I'm having with this one since I'm
Yeah.
in like the fun action chapters now? I'm just like, oh, I can't wait to start exploring like some of my new ideas. I haven't named any of my characters yet or anything, so that's always a process for me. I just
Yeah.
like peruse baby name sites until something sticks usually.
Yeah.
So I get maybe a little too obsessed with naming characters. I don't know how you feel. Are you just like a one and done, like, okay, yeah, this works, and you go with it, or
I don't know. It depends really. Sometimes I come up with the name pretty quickly, and for some reason that just fits, and I'm like, okay, that's great. I came up with the name already. But other times it's like I can't figure out what I want the name to be,
yeah,
and I struggle with it a little bit.
yeah, I like renamed characters a lot in this book.
I've
Like
done
I'll
that
just
a
be
couple times.
like this character doesn't really feel like this name. Like I gotta find a better name for them. So
But
oh,
yeah,
that's a decision.
this book has let's see. Anastasia's a lesbian.
hmm
Um Vivian is a asexual homo romantic.
hmm
Waylon, who is Vivian's best friend, is non-binary.
Nice.
I've never done a non-binary character before, so it's a little different. Then, one of Anastasia's best friends, Xander, is trans. When he was a skeleton now, but when he was alive, he hasn't actually been dead that long. He's the newest addition to the team, but he
Yeah.
got really close to Anastasia. He was actually born a girl, but when he was alive, he had a sex change operation. Because since he hasn't actually been dead that long, trans people do that now. It's
Mhm.
not like he was alive back in the 1800s like Anastasia. But yeah, so
Nice. That's cool.
I never
Nice.
had a trans character before either, so I'm trying to
I
put the name.
have like most of my trans characters are background characters in this, which I feel bad for, but I do have like a handful of them, so I'm
Yeah,
like
that's still
it
good.
kind of makes up for it. So yeah,
Nice.
that's something I want to work on more moving forward is being
Yeah,
more inclusive. So
yeah. You ready?
all right, let's do this. Our last sprint.
Yay!
All right, happy
Happy
writing.
writing. Hey,
Hi.
did you finish the scene?
It was actually a little bit longer than I thought it was. I did get 500 words done, but like
Okay.
I didn't realize there's quite a few bit more parts to it than I initially thought. So I didn't quite finish. Part of me is like, oh, like I'm so into this. I want to keep writing boss. So I'm like really tired. So I'm like, I should probably stop because it's probably like my quality's probably gonna suffer. So I
Yeah.
think I'm good for tonight.
Yeah, me too.
How does yours go?
Good, great. I finished the scene with. I
Mm-hmm.
finished it like right before we got back on here, so that
Nice.
worked out.
That was perfect.
Yeah, it was kind of intense, and the scene's gonna turn out later on. Turn out to be kind of ironic if people look back on this scene.
Yes.
Because I mean, scene was intense in the first place because and this was a flashback scene about when Anastasia found out that Mitchell came back as a skeleton as well. But this is also when she met Tyra, who turned out to be a close friend of hers in the present time where the story takes place. And but it's gonna be funny because I don't know if you want any spoilers or anything.
I'm okay with whatever you want to share.
Well, because later on, I don't know when I'm gonna have this happen, but I came up with this idea for Tyra, and later on, she's going to betray Anastasia
No.
because she's gonna end up working with her husband who had killed her because she thought that the Skeleton Rebellion was losing and that she didn't want to be on the losing side or this or that. And yeah, and it's ironic because in this scene, just as she met Tyra, she was thinking to herself about how she has to close off her feelings, her emotions, because she doesn't want to feel the pain that Mitchell has caused her, how she used to be so trusting, but now she isn't. But where we are now, she does trust Tyra completely. So it's kind of ironic.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, it's just like the time that's passed since then, you know.
Yeah.
She has grown to trust her so much,
But
then betrays her.
yes. So yeah.
That's cool. Sounds like you're really setting up for a lot to happen in this one.
Yeah. I have this amazing idea for Anastasia for the end of the book, and I have this amazing idea for Vivian that will happen later on. I'm not. It won't be like at the very end, like what's gonna happen with Anastasia's character, but yeah, something's gonna happen with her as well, and I'm so excited to put these ideas in.
Nice.
Yep,
It's fun.
definitely. It's getting late. You probably want to head to bed now, huh?
Yeah, I think I'm ready to
Yeah,
call it
I
a
bet.
night. But I completely like nailed my daily writing goal. I went
great.
over by like 500 words, so that just makes me even more ahead. So I'm really happy with that. So
That's
yeah.
good. Yeah, Alyssa said she's gonna participate on our next sprint. She wasn't feeling well, so she didn't write this time, but she wants to write on our next sprint.
Awesome. Yeah, that would be great to have her.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, good night. I hope you have a nice night and that you can get some writing done tomorrow as well.
Yes, yeah, I'm trying to keep it a daily thing right now so I can finish it this month.
Yeah,
But yeah, thank you, and thanks for hosting tonight.
of course. Maybe next
Have a
time we'll be
great
on your
time.
channel.
Yeah, we'll rotate like we used to.
Yeah.
You know, take turns. Yeah, so have a good night.
You too.
Thank you. Bye.
See ya.